Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for the Cleveland Browns at the San Diego Chargers in their Week 4 matchup, October 4th, 2015. We're going to go over the scores, and we're going to go over the stats, and we're going to give our breakdown and analysis. But let's start off in the first quarter with about 4 minutes left in the first. Travis Coons hit a 36-yard field goal to put the first points on the scoreboard, as it was now Cleveland 3, San Diego nothing. But then, with less than a minute left in the first, Phillip Rivers put the Chargers on the board as he hit Keenan Allen for a 28-yard touchdown. Lambo added the extra point, and it was now 7-3 with the Chargers in the lead by 4 after 1 quarter of play. Then in the second quarter, the Browns struck back as Josh McCown hit Duke Johnson Jr. for a 34-yard touchdown. Coons added the extra point, and the Browns were back in the lead by 3 with the score Cleveland 10, San Diego 7. Then, with about 10.5 minutes left before halftime, Josh Lambo hit a 46-yard field goal, and the game was tied up at 10 apiece. And then, with a minute and a half left in the second quarter, Lambo hit a 45-yard field goal, and now the Chargers were up by 3 with the score San Diego 13, Cleveland 10. Then in the final seconds, Cleveland ended up getting a field goal from Travis Coons, who hit a 28-yard field goal, his second one of the game. And this game was tied once again, this time at 13 apiece, heading into the locker rooms at halftime. So then in the third quarter, with about 6 minutes left in the third, Travis Coons hit his third field goal, a 33-yarder, to put the Browns up by 3 with the score Cleveland 16, San Diego 13. Then, less than 2 minutes later, with 4.5 minutes still left in the third, Phillip Rivers hit Ladarius Green for a 19-yard touchdown. Lambo added the extra point, and the Chargers were back in the lead, this time by 4, with the score San Diego 20, Cleveland 16. So that was the score after 3 quarters of play. Then in the fourth, with about 10 minutes left, Travis Coons hit a 40-yard field goal. That made it a 1-point game as the Browns trailed the Chargers 20-19. Then with 7.5 minutes still left to play, Phillip Rivers hit John Phillips for a 1-yard touchdown. Lambo added the extra point, and it was now an 8-point lead for the San Diego Chargers, 27-19 over the Cleveland Browns. But the Browns would get a touchdown with just over 2 minutes left to play as Josh McCown hit Gary Barnidge for a 1-yard touchdown, and they ended up going for a 2-point conversion. McCown hit Gabriel, and it was good, and this game was tied up at 27 apiece. So 2 minutes left to play, and Phillip Rivers would bring the Chargers down the field. He moved them 57 yards in 8 plays, and that set up a field goal attempt by Josh Lambo. And it was a 39-yard field goal, and it was up, and it was no good. But wait a minute, the Browns were offsides. And so now Lambo would get a chance from 34 yards out, and it was good. And on the final play of the game, the Chargers win this one 30-27 over the Browns. The Chargers are now 2-2. The Browns are 1-3. So I gotta tell you, in my opinion, this is a case of, bad teams finding a way to lose. As the Browns, they had this game going into overtime, but jumping off sides gave the Chargers a second chance, and Lambo hit it the second time, and San Diego pulls off that fourth quarter comeback. Phillip Rivers, he never says die. He always keeps moving forward. And in this game, he was 23 for 38, 358 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. McCown, 32 for 41, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Crowell was the leading rusher for the Browns with 12 carries for 63 yards. Woodhead, the leading rusher for the Chargers, 8 carries for 54 yards. And through the air, Amon, he had 3 receptions for 88 yards for San Diego. Woodhead had 4 receptions for 84 yards to go along with his 54 yards rushing, which gave him 138 total yards in this game. Keenan Allen, 4 receptions for 72 yards and a touchdown. Green had 4 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown. Johnson, 4 receptions for 32 yards. And for Cleveland, Johnson had 9 receptions for 85 yards and a touchdown. Duke Johnson also had 31 yards rushing as well off of 8 carries. So he ended up with a total of 116 yards in this game. Travis Benjamin had 6 receptions for 79 yards, and Barnridge had 6 receptions for 75 yards, including that touchdown. And Crowell had 3 receptions for 62 yards to go along with his 63 yards rushing, which gave him 125 total yards in this game. Lambo was 3 for 3 on the field goals, 3 for 3 on the extra points. He was perfect in this game. He did miss that one field goal, but it didn't count because of the offsides. And he did kick the game winner. So Lambo came up huge. Travis Coons was perfect as well. 4 for 4 on the field goals, 1 for 1 on the extra point. We look at the defense. Manti Te'o had 13 tackles in this game to be the game's leading tackler. Whitner had 7 tackles for Cleveland. For San Diego, Eric Weddle had 6 tackles and a half sack. Atachu had 2 sacks. Ingram had 1.5 sacks. And then we look over on the Browns side. Kirksey had a sack. Cooper had a sack as well. And Ingram also had a forced fumble. First downs, San Diego had 23, Cleveland 20. On third downs, Cleveland was 4 for 13, converting 30%. San Diego 3 for 11, converting 27%. Total net yards, 438 for the Chargers, 432 for the Browns. Net rushing yards, 100 for Cleveland, 91 for San Diego. Net passing yards, 347 for the Chargers. Rivers was sacked twice for a total of 11 yards lost. And for Cleveland, they netted 332. McCown was sacked 4 times for a total of 24 yards lost. We look at the penalties. 12 penalties for the Browns, losing 91 yards as they shot themselves in the foot in this game, especially in the final play. Well, next to last play. 6 penalties for San Diego, just 31 penalty yards for the Chargers. And in the red zone, Cleveland just 1 for 4, 25%. And for San Diego, 2 for 3, 66%. And that was, again, the red zone is where you have to have success. And if you can't get it into the end zone when you're in the red zone, you're going to lose. You see, they had 3 times they did not turn those red zone trips into touchdowns, and then they end up losing by 3 points. Just one more touchdown, Cleveland would win this game. Instead, they come up with that penalty that gives the Chargers that second chance, and then they capitalize on that opportunity. They said they were 2 for 3 in the red zone as well for the Chargers, so they were capitalizing on those opportunities in the red zone as well. And time of possession was actually in the favor of the Browns, 34 minutes, 19 seconds versus just 25 minutes, 41 seconds for the Chargers. So the Chargers, they're an opportunistic team. When you give Phillip Rivers the chance to win a game at the end, he's going to go for it full throttle, and he's going to get it 9 times out of 10. He has ice in his veins. Phillip Rivers is a gunslinger. He doesn't care. He's going to throw that rock. And you see he got 3 touchdowns, and he did a good job protecting the ball. Both teams, neither team had an interception in this game. Of course, part of that is the defenses, but they're not really ball hawks on either side necessarily. And the Chargers 2-2. They even up their record. Cleveland now 1-3. Is, like I said, bad teams find a way to lose. And, San Diego might not be the best team, but they're a competitive team. They're always going to be, fighting to the end. And when they get the opportunity to win a game in the final minutes, they will do that. And that's what they did right here, as they win this 130-27. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend and enjoyed all the sports.